Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Bienvenidos a Majalis. Aquí vamos a hablar, inshallah, en este programa de las finanzas islámicas. Últimamente se habla muchísimo de este concepto y hay diferentes instituciones a nivel mundial que están llevando a cabo grandes labores a la hora de dar a conocer este concepto y también de ayudar a diferentes iniciativas a nivel mundial. Una de estas instituciones es el WIEF, que es el World Islamic Economy Forum, Foro Mundial Islámico de Economía, y tengo el placer de tener conmigo a una persona que representa a esta organización que tuvo sus orígenes en Malasia, pero ya se ha extendido a nivel mundial y está llevando a cabo unas labores y un trabajo maravilloso. Tengo el placer de tener conmigo a Ebrahim Patel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you very much for being with us, and welcome to Cordoba International.
Thank you. It's been an amazing week that we have had here in Cordoba, and I must thank all our friends in Cordoba for having hosted us here.
Alhamdulillah. Welcome. And we would like to start, first of all, before talking about the activities that you had here in Spain this last week, to talk about the WEF. How it was created, how it emerged, and what are you trying to achieve with all these activities that you're carrying out, amazing activities in different parts of the world?
WIEF is an organization which is based in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Yeah. Essentially, the basis of the organization is to create bridges, to build bridges between communities across the world. Not just Muslim, but between the Muslim and the non-Muslim world at the same time. And what better way of building bridges than through economic activity? Because everybody wants to do business.
Yes.
So when you do business, you don't worry about who you're doing business with. But at the same time, we're showing that the Muslim world has a great deal of opportunity, has a great deal of potential, and a great deal of positiveness. In that way, we build bridges across between different parts of the world. And that's the ideal vision of the WIEF, the World Islamic Economic Forum. So it's 10 years old now, started off in Kuala Lumpur. We've had a number of forums annually across the globe. Yeah. We've had in Malaysia, we've had in Pakistan, in Kazakhstan, in Kuwait, in London last year, and in Dubai. So it's in different parts of the world to showcase the great potential of the Islamic world. And what better way than to do business, to talk to each other, and remember that our Quran talks about tijara, about the business concept. So we're practicing the Quran when we are doing business. Exactly. So that's the whole philosophy of the WIEF, that how can we use business to build bridges?
As a bridge. Talking about business as this tool to build bridges between peoples and nations and cultures, we can talk about how Malaysia has known Islam through business. There was not an army that went to Malaysia, but just through business, Islam and has had contacts with different people in the whole world, isn't it?
Of course, that was the spread of Islam, was through traders. When the Sahaba were doing their trade on their caravans, they were spreading Islam through trade. But the idea is that you become a better person, you interact with people, you dialogue with people, and you show them the positiveness, you show them who we really are, that we are ordinary citizens, we are part of this human world, we are contributors to civilization. And you know, when you're talking about Cordoba and you're talking about Granada, you see the great civilizations that we have contributed to, the scientific thought that we have contributed to. Exactly. So yes, we have a great deal of potential to show to the world.
Yeah, you at the WEF, you put special emphasis on ethics, the ethical dimension of Islamic business, the Islamic way of doing business. So,
well, we talk about how business should be done. Yeah. We talk about the integrity of business. We talk about the transparency of business. These are all concepts that after the financial crisis, other parts of the world are starting to talk about it. They're talking about more transparency in the financial sector. They're talking about more governance in the financial sector. These are concepts that have already been embedded in Islam. So all we are doing is we are showing that we already have these concepts. Let us share it with the world.
Exactly. You've talked about how the WEF started its activity 10 years ago. It's a decade now. And you have carried out different initiatives around the world. Last year in London, focused or aimed at the youth. Yeah. And this year, you've came to Spain. You had a wonderful week in southern Spain, in Cordoba and Granada. Talk to us about the most important activities you carried out, and what are the objectives behind these activities?
Well, remember that the youth are the inheritors of the future. They are the people that will shape tomorrow. They are the people that will create a better future for all of us. So the idea is, how do we take the young, how do we take them who have a great deal of potential, they have a great deal of thought to give to the future. So we need to give them the opportunity. But at the same time, we need to give them the skills so that they have the correct skills in order to take part in the future. So what we try and do is create a network of young people across the globe where they can learn things about entrepreneurship, about how to run a business, about how to build their own leadership skills. Whether they want to be leaders in society, whether they want to be leaders in a non-profit organization, or they want to lead a business. They need to have the skills to do that. So we impart to them various degrees of skills on leadership, on entrepreneurship. Even when we were in Cordoba, we were talking about civilization, the great heritage that we have. So we really understand that, for me, it's not just about youth being the leaders of tomorrow. They are already starting today. So we need to give them the skills to start from today. And that's the idea behind the Young Leaders program.
For a person like yourself who has a great deal of experience talking to youth and implementing these kind of skills, which are the top skills a leader should have, a Muslim young leader?
Listening.
Listening. Yeah.
I think I've learned more from the young people that I've interacted with than ever before. So I don't have much to tell them. They have more to tell me. So we have to listen to what the young have. We have to listen to their needs and their requirements. And then we have to try and use the experiences that the older generation has had to shape and to build and to lay the foundation on which the young can go forward on. So most importantly for leaders is listening. And the second most important thing is about integrity. How do we portray ourselves? So we try and show that if you have integrity in whatever you do, whether you are running a social upliftment program, or you are running a charitable organization, or you're going to be running a multi-million-dollar business, you have to have integrity and you have to have passion as well. So these are the few things that we talk to them about too.
Yeah. Have you noticed any interaction with the Muslim youth here in Spain? Have they come in a good number of people have come to
well, in this particular
activities?
program in Cordoba, we had 26 young people from 20 different countries.
20 different countries.
20 different countries. And not all of them were Muslim. So the fundamental difference is that this is not about Muslims only.
Exactly.
This is about how we can learn from each other's cultures. So we had about 5 people that were not Muslim. It allowed them the opportunity to spend an entire week with a group of Muslim young people to learn about each other's cultures. And we had people from various parts of the world, from Korea, from Ireland, from Nigeria, from Sudan, from the Middle East, from Australia.
All continents.
All the continents were represented. So the idea is, how can we learn from each other's culture? How can we show who we really are? And the only way is if we get together and we start talking to each other.
Talking is the secret.
Talking is definitely the secret, but listening is the even bigger secret.
Listening, being a good listener.
Being a good listener.
And what a better place for listening to each other and sharing thoughts and benefiting from each other than southern Spain, Cordoba, Granada, where different cultures, different religions, different ways of or visions of the world have coexisted for centuries, isn't it?
For me, it was amazing that we were here as part of a blip on a journey that started 800 years ago.
Wow.
It's not a new journey that is there. So we were looking at the civilization, the crossroads of the civilization, the great scientific discoveries that were done, the wonderful architecture, the great heritage that is in Andalusia. And it was a really nice learning experience for us. So, you know, the idea is, how can we all learn because the journey for learning, the Prophet ﷺ said, you must learn from the cradle to the grave.
Yes.
And so the process of learning is there every day for us, and we learn new things. And I was really impressed with coming to Andalusia. It's my first time. Definitely coming back again.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable, yes.
Well, Mr. Ebrahim Patel, it's been a pleasure having you here with us, and thank you very much for sharing these very, very interesting thoughts and experiences with us.
Thank you very much for having me in your program. Assalamu alaikum.
Muchísimas gracias, inshallah. Ojalá tengamos a más gente así que comparta con nosotros este tipo de experiencias tan inolvidables y tan beneficiales para la comunidad musulmana.